Everyone, and welcome back to the Foot Forecast. And today we're going to be discussing the Chelsea-Barcelona game where Chelsea absolutely took Barcelona to the cleaners. It really was that simple. Chelsea were absolutely dominant, and I think Maresca deserves massive credit for this game because when we looked at the team sheet and we saw no striker, I think everyone was like, this is interesting, no João Pedro up front, no Liam Delap. He basically went with Neto up front, and it really did work because Barca were just exploited completely by the pace that Chelsea had in behind in this game, and that is how the chances kept coming for Barcelona. And we knew that Flick was unlikely to adapt in this game. He was going to continue with that high line and with that approach of we will just score more than you. And look, I felt Barcelona had the ability to do this, but they needed someone like a Rashford or Rafinha on the pitch and not a Ferran Torres, who obviously missed that big chance at the start of the game. It is now known that Rashford didn't start that game because he was coming back from illness, but I do wonder, was there a better option than Ferran Torres, because he really did fluff his lines in that first chance he got for Barcelona, and that would have changed the game. If they go 1-0 up, the game is different. I think Cucurella proved today that he is one of the best fullbacks in the world. He handled Lamine Yamal absolutely brilliant. Yamal had absolutely nothing in this game, created zero chances, was never a threat, and Cucurella got the better of him all game, and he deserves massive credit for this, and was probably one of the key reasons why Chelsea was so dominant and won this game so easily. At no point did it feel like Barcelona were actually threatening the Chelsea goal. Another player that wasn't a part of the attack though today that deserves massive credit, I thought, was Moises Caicedo. He was absolutely brilliant in that midfield, cleaned up everything, and really just didn't allow Barcelona to get going. He's so important for Chelsea, and he's the sort of player that I think every team needs. I think it's partly why Liverpool are struggling. They don't have that holding midfielder. Someone like a Ryan Gravenberch is absolutely brilliant, but he doesn't have that sort of defensive ability that Caicedo has, and this allowed Chelsea to have a lot of quality attacks today. Sort of looking at the first half chances, Enzo Fernandez scored 2 offside goals, but it all come from sort of brilliant football, brilliant play, and every time they were just slightly offside. And look, you could say that's good work from Barcelona holding that line, but I don't think it was actually good work from Barcelona really. I think Chelsea struggled to time their runs at points today, and I don't think it's like, oh yeah, Flick's got that spot on. I think he should have told the defence to stay deeper today in this game, and this has always been a criticism of Flick. Sides eventually work him out. They eventually work out how to attack against a Hansi Flick side, and I think we saw this today. Chelsea's goal that they deserved eventually did come, and it wasn't a brilliant goal, that's for sure. It was a good ball across the face from Cucurella, and Neto sort of put it in the direction of the goal, but it's a terrible communication really from Ferran Torres and Koundé. They just couldn't get rid of the ball, and eventually it does come off Koundé into the back of the net. A little bit unlucky maybe, you could argue, but it is just still terrible defending, I think, and it was completely deserved. Chelsea deserved to win this game, and they deserved to go 1-0 up a lot before this game. The fact that they only won this game 3-0, I think in a way actually flattered Barcelona, and then eventually Araujo was sent off just at the end of the first half. He just is a liability for this Barcelona defence. I think he's a decent defender on a low block, but with this sort of high line, with this sort of defensive style, it just doesn't work for him. But at the same time, like how he got sent off today isn't because of the high line, isn't because of Flick's system. It's just a poor tackle completely, and he got nowhere near the ball, and he deserved to be sent off. He was previously got a yellow card as well for dissent. And as soon as you lose your defender when you're 1-0 down, it's going to be a long game back for Barcelona, and that is what it proved to be. They tried to make a change after time. They brought on Marcus Rashford. I thought maybe that could provide some sort of impact on the counter, but actually Chelsea just got more and more dominant throughout this game. There was more goals that were given as offside in the second half, but then Estêvão turned up, and it was an amazing goal from Estêvão. Once again proving why he is such a young talent. He's an incredible footballer, Estêvão, and I'm so excited for his future. I really think he needs to be starting for Chelsea. I know a lot of people will be saying he's a young player, and I agree that limiting minutes to an extent is a good idea, just sort of trying to ease him in. But I think he could play more minutes because I think he's one of Chelsea's best players. I definitely think he's Chelsea's best winger, and he showed that today. It was a brilliant goal. It was actually terrible defending from Kubasi as well, and I do think this to an extent does show the levels between the Premier League and La Liga right now. Like in La Liga, I don't know if Kubasi sort of gets spun like that unless it's sort of against the top sides, but there's just so much talent in the Premier League right now, and we saw that, and the levels are being shown. I think the fact that Chelsea won 3-0 today, this isn't the best side in the Premier League. This is either probably the third or the fourth best side in the Premier League right now. You look at last week, like a couple of weeks ago, Liverpool aren't a strong side in the Premier League right now. In fact, they're really struggling, but they won against Real Madrid 1-0, and it should have been more, and that's against probably La Liga's best side right now. So I think there is, to an extent, a level in difference in quality is being shown right now between the two leagues. And then finally, Chelsea did finish it off through Liam Delap. It was a good pass from Neto into Fernandes, and then Fernandes just squared it to Delap. Simple goal. Poor defending once again from Barcelona, and they deserved to lose this game 3-0. I think they deserved to lose it by more. And then after this, it was just sort of a standstill. Neither side was really going for it. Barcelona had accepted they had lost this game. Chelsea didn't see the point in going for more goals, so this game did end 3-0, but I think it could have got more embarrassing for Barca, and they'll probably be happy that it didn't. Then we're on to some player ratings for Chelsea, Barcelona. I'm going to start off with Chelsea. And Robert Sanchez, he literally had nothing to do. I'm giving a 6. I don't think this was the sort of game where Sanchez thought he was going to have to do nothing. I think he probably expected to have to do a lot throughout this game, but he had nothing to do. So just a standard 6. Malo Gusto, he just came off at halftime with a slight knock. Decent performance. I'm going to give him a 6 as well. Then Wesley Fofana. I thought Fofana was good for Chelsea today. Just solid and as good as he needs to be. I'm giving a 7. Chalobah as well. I thought Chalobah was good throughout this game. I'm giving him a 7. Marc Cucurella, as I said, I thought Marc Cucurella was absolutely exceptional for Chelsea today. I'm giving him a 9. Absolutely locked up Barcelona's main threat, Lamine Yamal. Then on to Reece James. James was good today. I don't think it was his best performance, nothing special. I'm giving him a 6. Moises Caicedo. I thought Moises Caicedo was absolutely exceptional today. Absolutely brilliant. I'm giving him a 9. Then we've got Enzo Fernandez. I thought Enzo Fernandez was very good for Chelsea today. I'm going to give him an 8. Had 2 disallowed goals, but his overall play was absolutely brilliant. Alejandro Garnacho, he could have probably been more threatening today. Not his best performance. I'm going to give him a 6 as well. Pedro Neto, a very good performance from Pedro Neto. At times having to do a lot of the job up front, something he's not that used to. I'm going to give Pedro Neto an 8. And then we have got Estêvão, and I'm going to give Estêvão an 8 as well. Absolutely brilliant goal. The reason why I haven't given Estêvão like a 9 or a 10 is because I do think Caicedo and Cucurella were better in this game, but he was still brilliant. Andre Santos also came off the bench. I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he was better than Gusto when he came on. And then finally, we've got Liam Delap. Delap, you've got to give him some credit. He scored the goal. I think he did a roll up front that was needed. So just holding up the ball at the end of the game where Chelsea were leading, I'm going to give him an 7 as well. And then finally, the manager, Enzo Maresca. I'm giving Maresca a 9. I thought Maresca got it spot on today, using Neto up front, the tactics of just trying to get pace in behind. But overall, Chelsea absolutely dominated this game. You've got to give massive credit to Enzo Maresca. Then let's have a look at Barcelona's player ratings, and these are going to be nowhere near as good. Starting off with João Garcia, and I'm going to give João Garcia a 4. The ball ended up in his back of the net 6 times. Only 3 were allowed. None of them he could have done too much on, apart from I think the Andre Santos one where he should have saved it. It was eventually disallowed. Jules Koundé, I thought Koundé was awful today. I thought he was absolutely shocking actually. I'm going to give Koundé a 2. I thought he was that bad today. He got absolutely spun today, and it was really a poor game from him. Ronald Araujo, I'm going to give Ronald Araujo a 2. Araujo was terrible as well today, and he deserves this low of a rating. Being sent off absolutely cost his team, and as the captain you can't be doing this. Then on to Kubasi. I thought Kubasi wasn't great again today. He was poor on the second Estêvão goal, even though it was brilliant from Estêvão. I'm going to give him a 4. Then Balde. I thought Balde was probably the best of the Barcelona defence. I mean, that's not saying a lot, or none of them were actually good. I'm going to give him a 5. Then we have got Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia, I mean, he wasn't great today in midfield. Not a very natural position for him. I'm going to give him a 5. Frankie de Jong. De Jong should have been way better for the class that he is. I'm giving him a 4. Fermin Lopez, I mean, it just wasn't the game for Fermin, in fairness to him. Like, there wasn't a lot he could have done throughout this game. I don't think it wasn't the game where he was ever going to be able to excel, it felt like. I'm going to give him a 5. Then Lamine Yamal, I'm giving Lamine Yamal a 4. This was a really poor game from Yamal and not a good showing at all today. Cucurella absolutely locked him up. Cucurella is a top defender, but Yamal's still going to be doing better than that. Robert Lewandowski, I'm going to give Lewandowski a 5. Just never really had anything in this game. And finally, Ferran Torres, I'm giving him a 2. Missed the crucial chance and was part of the Koundé own goal and was at fault for this. Hansi Flick, I'm giving Flick a 3 today. I thought he set them up really poor today. How does this affect the two sides going forward in the Champions League? Well, Chelsea look like they are going to qualify in the top 8. They are currently sitting on 10 points after 5 games, and they do look like a side that could get in the top 8. There's still a bit in doubt. I think it's unlikely now for Barcelona. They are only on 7 points after 5 games. Saving grace for Barcelona is their remaining fixtures aren't too difficult. They are playing Frankfurt, Slavia Prague, and they are playing Copenhagen. 2 of them are also at home. So they may be able to somehow sneak into the top 8, but right now it is looking incredibly unlikely, and they are going to have to go through the playoffs. Let me know your thoughts on this game. What are your thoughts on Barcelona's performance? I thought it was terrible, and I thought Chelsea were absolutely brilliant. If you enjoyed this, it would be great if you subscribe to this channel.